I was just sitting here thinking about overcoming my logical mind. I've been working a lot on belief lately, and I would love to believe that anything is possible, and I do believe that. But I am actively coming up against my ego, and my ego is tied to some logic that was probably fed to me by the patriarchy in a society that wants to keep us small. Society doesn't want someone like me to succeed because that would threaten the very fabric of everything that the patriarchy has built. So from a very young age, actually before I was even born, I was taught to believe that magic couldn't happen. And so, although I've been a psychic medium, or I've known about my psychic medium abilities for almost a decade now, there's still pieces of my ego that I'm working on dismantling. And I just searched on YouTube, let go of logical mind in manifestation. Because this logical mind that exists in my programming, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I found that with a lot of my subconscious beliefs that I've uncovered, is that they don't make sense, right? They were programmed in there by, I got distracted because I saw a hummingbird outside. Hello. They were programmed in there by a society that wanted me to stay small. So it's unprogramming that is, I think, probably what people call being delusional. And so that's why I searched this on YouTube, because I was like, oh, I want to hear stories of the most ridiculous manifestations, right? I was like, I want to hear stories about how people received things or accomplished things or did things really fast or whatever that are so miraculous that it seems like magic, or that it seems like it's whoa, that's reality. And so I was looking for a video about that, but then I was like, why don't I just make one myself? Because whether we like it or not, we have one of the biggest examples of that happening in our world right now, and that is the President of the United States, amongst a bunch of other things. A bunch of other things in the terrible shadow parts of our world are happening. And so it's if I believe in the concept of contrast, which I do, then it would only make sense that there's all of those unbelievable, but believe it, things happening, like wars and all of that. If all of that is happening in our world and that's all in the shadow, then isn't there a contrast of light somewhere? And in that light are miracles that are actively happening. And so I'm having this experience right now where I'm like, okay, brain, this is a fully internal process that I'm going through right now. Because my internal subconscious doesn't believe that the good things can happen. It only believes that the bad things can happen. And I'm very aware of that. And that's what I'm trying to decondition, right? So right now, I literally in this moment, you are witnessing this alchemization live. Literally in this moment, I am connecting with my subconscious and I'm saying, listen, if all of these bad things can happen, then all of these good things can happen too. Because if everything was all bad, we wouldn't have any context for it. Same if everything was all good, we actually wouldn't have context for it, and either would be irrelevant. But because we exist in contrast, because it is a human experience to exist in contrast, both give context for the other. And so I'm just breathing through my nervous system with this wisdom, because I also feel like it's coming from me, but it's also downloading through me. I am the vessel. So I'm telling my subconscious this so that my subconscious can believe that amazing mystical miracles can happen. And the thing is that the people who run the shadow realms, also known as the patriarchy, in most cases, in a lot of cases, not just the patriarchy, but the patriarchy, white supremacy, those types of things. Those who run that shadow realm, who gained control, taught me and my subconscious that this bright, light, good thing doesn't exist, but it was a lie. It was a lie. And they knew it was a lie. And they knew that if they taught us that it didn't exist, that if we couldn't be magical beings, that if we couldn't have everything that we want, that if we couldn't live in a state of harmony, they wanted us to believe that that was not possible so that they could continue having power in the shadow realm and keep our world in the shadow realm with their power. And so this is not to ignore the shadow realm, because the shadow realm very much exists. It's there. And we have to acknowledge that it's there. But we have to also at the same time believe that this contrasting, amazing life experience on earth can happen. If we don't believe that it can happen, then it's going to take us a lot longer to get there. But there's a deep subconscious thing that is stopping us from believing that it can get there. Because what I see as the way out of being engulfed by the shadow realm is to slowly build the light as much as we can. And slowly building the light as much as we can does not mean that we ignore the shadow, because if it was only light, we wouldn't have a context for shadow. But what happens when we build the light while still acknowledging the shadow is that the light just starts to illuminate the shadow. And slowly the shadow shrinks as we illuminate it more and more. So, yeah, this is, this is a little bit of a tangent, I won't lie, than what I set out to record. Because really when I set out to record, it was just me recording my own personal process of believing in this light that we've been blocked off from seeing for so long. And in some ways, it makes sense, because humans are mammals. And we evolved from animals. Well, we are animals, but we evolved in always looking for the danger. Like that's how our nervous system knows how to survive, right? Always looking for the danger. And so learning to look for the light is a practice, which I've learned in therapy. Shout out to my therapist. But the reason that I started this video is to like really talk to my subconscious and be like, listen, subconscious, anything can happen. There are all these things happening in our world in the shadow realm that we look at and we like get shot out of our body in dissociation because we're like, I can't believe that this is happening. My timer just said 11:11. We look at these things from the shadow realm and we're like, I actually can't believe this is happening, but like, believe it, baby, it's happening. So this integration process that I'm working through right now is believing that I could flip that in a mirror and see it on the positive side of things also and be like, wow, this thing just happened in my life. Wow. I can't believe that happened. And part of believing that is allowing my body and my nervous system to feel safe in that possibility. But when we've been taught that that is impossible, hold on, the download is coming. When we're taught that those, I'm just going to call them miracles or miraculous manifestations, or just manifestations in general, when we're taught that those aren't the norm and they don't happen, then our nervous system is naturally resistant to them happening. Because our nervous system prefers what it knows. So when we are born already with the conditioning that we have to look for the danger, then we are more predispositioned to fall into the shadow realm. 13:13, my timer. And in that way, sometimes our nervous system feels more safe there. So what I think I'm understanding in making this recording for I started making this recording for myself, but maybe I will share this and it will help others, is that I'm actively doing the integration to let my body know that it's safe to experience these light miracles over here. That to experience rapid growth or rapid manifestations or receive lots of money or receive health or just receive anything or have anything amazing happen. I am letting my nervous system know in this moment right now, witnessed by anyone who watches this, I am letting my body and my nervous system know that it is safe for those positive miracles to happen. Breathe into that. Because the subconscious needs to know that those spontaneous manifestations happening of what I want is actually more safe for me than being stuck in the shadow realm, even though the shadow realm is what we are fed as we are conditioned as our belief. So this integration is a process of like soothing the body and soothing the subconscious to let it know that it's safe. It's safe for miracles to happen. It's safe for amazing magic to happen. And I think this is the last thing I'll say, is that I think this just really makes a lot of sense that our bodies, especially if you're raised as a woman, that we are like taught that the amazing miracles of our bodies and of our power are bad. And literally, there was a time in history where if you were a woman and you performed miracles of positivity, like healing miracles or magic or whatever else, you were labeled a witch and you were destroyed. And not only that, even if you didn't do magic or you didn't do healing stuff, if you simply did not conform to the box that society and the church basically were trying to put you into, or if you were just a woman in general, like you didn't even have to have magical powers to be trialed and tortured and destroyed as a witch. Like, this is real history. They tried to make it seem like witches aren't real and all of that didn't happen. They tried to like put witches just in fairy tales so that we would forget that it actually happened. But let me tell you, my ancestors were there. It happened. It's still happening everywhere. But it's so deeply ingrained that creating miracles and magic and manifesting and all of this amazing stuff that we're trying to get back to is bad, because they didn't want us to have our power. They took our power from us, and they did that by just ending us. By trialing us as witches and trying to destroy us. And that rippled through time and across the globe. It wasn't just that, there were other elements too. But in the 16th century, 14th, 15th, 16th century, that's what was happening. Women specifically were hunted and destroyed simply for being women. And if you had magical healing powers, well, it was kind of irrelevant. But you probably would have been trialed faster. But the weird part is, they actually really didn't even know. They really didn't know the truth of our powers, and so they suppressed it. And we still feel that today. Every day, we hold that in our bodies, in everything we do. And it is up to us to acknowledge and recognize that and gain our power back.